Today, we are giving our final predictions for the playoff picture in terms of who's winning the divisions, who's pushing through in the AFC and the NFC to go with our best rookies, offensive players, defensive players, and the MVP. We're giving you everything. And we would request before we get started, please subscribe. First 1,000 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway signed jersey of your choosing. Also, drop a comment. Do you agree? Do you disagree? It's going to get hot take-ish as it always does. Welcome to the Tailgate Talk. Let's start with the AFC East. I got the notepads. I got things on all sorts of different screens. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's do this thing then, man. First thing, Patriots are 11-2. Bills are 8-4. Nobody else in that division really matters at this point. Did you say the Dolphins might make a little run towards the end of the season?
They're not going to make the playoff run. They might. Okay. They might end up at 500 or a little bit better than 500, depending how they close out. But it's just not going to matter in the grand scheme. And I also can't see the Patriots being overtaken. I mean, they have the Jets, they have the Dolphins, Ravens, Bills as remaining games. Minimum 13-4, maybe even better. And the Buffalo would have to be perfect. And they have, of course, the Browns and the Jets, but they also have the Eagles, the Bengals, the Patriots. So I think that's safe to say that you would have the Patriots and the Bills. And in my opinion, they're both going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's completely fair. I think they both make the playoffs. What I have written down, basically, I just don't see the Patriots dropping 2 of those games in a row, man, against the Bills and the Ravens. I think they pick up one of them, and that's more than good enough when you have the Jets and the Dolphins left, basically, just to win the division. So
and I think Drake's been balling out. He's been absolutely performing. Every time I watch him play, I don't think to myself that this is a guy that's going to drop the ball in any sort of way. No chance.
I don't think so. All right, let's go to the AFC North then. So we're saying, just to wrap that up quickly, it's Patriots win, but both teams make the playoffs, Bills and Patriots. That's our prediction. Okay.
I think there's only possible for one of these teams in AFC North to make the playoffs. There's no other route. I don't see some wild card discovery.
Yeah, it's Ravens and the Steelers at the time of filming this video are both 6-6. Ravens' remaining schedule is the Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, and Steelers. That's a tough schedule, man.
This is the reality with the Ravens. I'm gonna go back to the age-old saying: defense win championships, and that secondary been looking suspect. I don't have the same belief or conviction with the Ravens, especially with a couple games they've lost at home this year. Bothers me. Usually going to Baltimore is a problem. And it kind of transitions nicely here, but I still think going to Pittsburgh is an issue. Even with some of the injuries and maybe not being the most dynamic going forward, you do not want to travel to Pittsburgh and play against the Steelers. And I don't know how you wrote this off. We never talk beforehand. We like to keep it kind of raw for the video. This is going to be the most debatable division, without a doubt. I will say that I think Rodgers needs to play. I know that he's been dealing with some injuries at the end of this late stage season, and we're recording this before the games this weekend, which is done on purpose. This should come out on Saturday, so just before. So you'll find out if we're right or we're wrong. We'll all watch that together. I think the Steelers are going to edge this division. I think they're going to split with the Ravens. I think they beat the Browns, they beat the Dolphins, and it ends up being some sort of 9-8 winning division side. That's how I wrote this up. I'd love to see the Bengals make a run. I guess technically it's possible. I don't know if it's that feasible. I got a lot of belief in Joe Burrow, but I just think the path is unlikely.
Yeah, I don't know. I had it basically the opposite. I think the Ravens are going to somehow edge this division. It's just one of those where I just think on paper the Ravens are so much better, and they have so much more potential, I think, than the Steelers do. But like you said, the Ravens have lost some really weird games.
But the way they've lost, Buck, it's bothering me. You're
no,
not wrong.
I agree.
If you go on the paper and you say Lamar Jackson versus this current version of Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, of course, I know he's had some injuries this year as well, but he's back. You know, you look at Henry and Henry versus Warren, even though I like Warren, I know you're not always on board as the number one fanboy. He's cost you some points or wins in fantasy. I understand that. I just, on paper, again, you'd say the Ravens, how are they not getting the job done? It's the defense is not good. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
They're not making the same types of plays, and they're not protecting Baltimore. I don't know. It rubs me weird, and then obviously the Browns are last. They're going to be at the bottom.
Yeah, no, obviously. All right, so my prediction's Ravens, your prediction Steelers. I like that,
only one team going through from that division, so only one playoff team from the AFC North.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I know we're saying that's a debatable division. There's a few that are crazy, man. Like the AFC South right now, Jags 8-4, Colts 8-4, Texans 7-5.
This is about to get hot takey as can be. If you're throwing it my way, I'm sure you're going to disagree with what I have to say.
Go.
Okay, I got the Texans winning the division. I believe the Texans are beating the Chiefs this weekend. All right, and then they're going to beat the Cardinals. They're going to beat the Raiders. They're going to beat the Colts to end off the year. I'm telling you right now, I think the Texans are winning this division, and I actually think 3 teams are making the playoffs. I think the Colts and the Jags are going to make the playoffs as well. So I've got Texans, Colts, Jags all making the playoffs, 3 teams from the division with the Texans winning the division. And I'm biased. I'm biased, but I think it's happening. Number 1 defense in the league, baby.
I think it's fair that we talk about the schedule the rest of the way, though, too, for some of these teams. The Jags play the Colts twice. They play the Jets, the Broncos, and the Titans. Realistically, I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's an everybody thing. I'm kind of waiting for the Jags to be the Jags and start dropping some of these weird games, you know? I feel like they've done really well.
Then, Buck. Well, let me ask you, do you think the Jaguars are going to lose to the Titans or the Jets?
I think they lose to – I don't know if they lose to either one of them.
They got to lose one of those games probably to make the theory, because otherwise they're already at 8-4. That's 10 wins. I think they're going to bumble through. No, but you'll hear my theory, though. You're not hearing my theory here, okay? My apologies, I jumped in.
I do think they lose. I think they lose the Colts both times, personally. I think the Broncos are going to beat them. I do think they'll beat the Jets and the Titans, okay? I had this drawn up basically as I think the Colts are going to win the division, and I said I think the Texans and the Jags are going to finish at 10-7 each in second place. That was mine.
How many teams do you have making the playoffs from that division?
I think if it's 10-7 and 11-6 at the very end of it, I think
I'm doing the math here. I'm trying to see who's skirting in for you, who's skirting out.
I think they all realistically could with that good of a record.
Well, I'm saying they are. I'm telling you, like, I've got mine defined 7 from the AFC, defined 7 from the NFC. So we can move forward. We will revisit this.
Okay.
I've got all 3 of those teams making the playoffs. I do think the Jags are going to somehow, what's the saying? I was going to say slip on like Cinderella's slipper. So I was going the wrong direction. I don't know what kind of.
It was going to be a Cinderella story for them to get in the playoffs.
Whatever. I think they're going to make the playoffs. But I agree with you, or maybe I just don't believe in the Jaguars as much as I should, because this year they've kind of been surprising. But I think they've already done too much to not get over the hump. Let's go AFC West. AFC West has been somewhat dominant. You got the Broncos at the top. I think we'd probably agree, definitely playoffs, definitely winning the division.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair to say. They have the Raiders, the Packers, the Jags, the Chiefs, and the Chargers at the end of the season, dude. It's one of those, the Broncos this season, they can beat anybody. And it pains me because it's boring football, in my opinion. I hate it. But it's also the Chargers play the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. Dude, they have that's a really tough schedule on the way out, dude. And with how inconsistent, I love the Chargers, but with how inconsistent they can be, they could knowing them, they could realistically somehow drop 3 or 4 of those games.
I've got the Chargers and the Chiefs missing the playoffs. So I know you don't want to hear that, but I think the Chargers schedule is tough. Like one of the worst finishes probably for the year in terms of strength of opposition and form and so forth. But I also have the Chiefs missing the playoffs, and I see the Texans kind of knocking them out of the playoffs this weekend. So I'm clearly trying to manifest that. I don't blame you. I think they match up well. I really think the Texans match up well to the Chiefs, and even traveling, this could be an interesting game. But otherwise, the Chiefs still have the Chargers, they have the Titans, they have the Raiders, they have the Broncos. They realistically have to win out.
Yeah, I think so too.
In order to get a spot. And I don't know if this Chiefs team does, because they've had those close games, those late runs, the fourth quarter that the Chiefs are so known for being so dominant. And you always having that belief, even with Rashee Rice being back. I don't know if it's there this year.
That's fair. I'm saying Chargers make the playoffs. That's my call, though. Okay,
that's fine. I only have the Broncos, so that's again following off my hot takes. But it's going to be close, no matter what. This NFL season, by the way, has been phenomenal. If you agree with us, just drop a like on the video or get in the comments. If you're coming in from an unbiased view, the amount of unpredictable superstardom, prop bets happening, results that you're like, what? The inconsistencies in the best of manners. It's just been a disaster in good ways, or it's been complimentary in bad ways. I don't know. It's just been one of those things where I'm dialed every single game. It's hard for me to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, sports betting wise, it's been, I think, one of the tougher years for it, though, just because everything's so damn close.
It depends, though, man. If you're leveling up some of these crazy ladders, I mean, both of us talk almost every night about different bets that we have placed, and there's been some opportunity. Guys are catching passes, a lot of injuries. And, I mean, you can't always time these, but depending what kind of risk taker you are, what sort of parlays you're setting up, it might be a different combo for a different period. But let's recap, because we're going to go to the NFC. So, AFC, I have Patriots, Bills, Steelers, Jags, Texans, Colts, Broncos. You are taking the Jags out? You're flipping the Chargers in.
I want the Chargers. I'll take the Jags. I'll put the
All right,
Chargers
so that's the
in.
flip.
Even
I'm
though
just
that's
making
just
sure.
that's wishful thinking, though. If it's anything,
I'm not mad at that take. I got the Texans as first in the division. How could I be upset with you? So I just want to make sure that we're lined up. If you're watching at home, if you're dialed in, maybe there's a graphic on screen to confirm what we're looking at. These are our two predictions of the playoff picture, at least for the AFC. Let's move to the NFC. The NFC East might be the most boring division. It's done. It's already settled. You have the Eagles, the Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. Cowboys, I don't think they can make the playoffs after losing to the Lions. The percentage has to be like 5 or something. They need every permutation, calculation, expectation, hypothetical. I can just keep giving you words that are similar and would just test Mike's thesaurus. But the Eagles are going to go first. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't think anyone else in that division can make the playoffs.
I was going to say, Cowboys play the Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, and Giants to end the year. Realistically, they could win all 4 of those games. But
that might not be enough is the problem. That's
the
what
only
I'm saying.
issue.
That's the issues.
They
need, it's not that they win those games. They still need a lot of help with winning those games.
That's what I was going to say. We'll all hear going into the next division tier, man, but they would need a lot of help. But yeah, I could agree with that. I think it's just the Eagles, obviously number 1. And then, I don't know if the Cowboys make it. I don't necessarily think they do.
Lead us into the North. What are we saying? That's a division that's got
North's a good one too, man.
Some real players.
It does, and the games this weekend matters so much for it as well. Bears 9-3, Packers 8-3, Lions 8-5. Is that a little weird to think the Lions 8-5? Like Lions sitting 3rd in the division. It's kind of going into the season. I don't think anybody expected the Bears to be doing this good.
Well, that's what's strange because I would even say the Lions haven't been bad this year at all.
Yeah, and they're 8-5. Yeah, it's a pretty shocking record.
I've watched every single Lions game this year, and far majority of the games they've looked good. They look like themselves. I mean, you can argue whatever you'd like to from the previous year, but sometimes it also deals with the comp. Same with the Vikings. The Vikings last year were incredible. Then they have this QB disaster. No one would have expected, like, very similar team. If you look at the roster from last year to this year, outside of the QB, very similar, and the results night and day difference. Just horrifying watch too. Last week with the Vikings against Seattle, filth.
Yeah,
I should have got paid to watch that game.
There's a few games this year we should have been paid.
Yeah, I know. You know how we should have got an upcharge. We were the advert on that one. We're sitting through ads to watch that game.
YouTube TV. Yeah, they couldn't have canceled the YouTube and ESPN subscription right then and there. All right, well, basically, Bears play the Packers, the Browns, the Packers again, the 49ers, and the Lions. That is also, aside from the Browns, a pretty wild finish to the year. Do you think at any point the Bears' fourth quarter luck is going to transfer back to the old Bears' fourth quarter luck?
So I love the Bears, and I've always been secretly rooting for them, maybe publicly rooting for them. I love the Jay Cutler days where he kind of created the I don't know if he created it, but he's almost famous for it. I call it like the deep throw punt. You know, if you throw a pick, but you threw the ball 30, 40 yards, it was almost the same as a punt. So go ahead and whip it out there, Jay Cutler, and the Urlacher years. And I mean, this Bears team is different. The belief is different. The runs have been able to make, how they close out games, the dual running back situation with Monangai and Swift. Love it. I still think the Packers are actually going to close out the division. I have them as first. I think that draw is going to come into play. They do play the Bears twice. So whether you're a Bears fan or a Packers fan, you could decide the division. I mean, the Packers also have to play the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Vikings. Not like they have an easy closeout here. You could probably make a similar case. You touched on it with the Bears, but I have the Packers first, Bears second, and then I have the Lions third, but I do have them making the playoffs even with only 4 games remaining. So that could be a little bit of a sleeper take or a hot take, but that's I've got 3 in this division.
I can see that. I have, once again, I just think the Bears are gonna pull the Bears at some point, and they're one of the teams that I've secretly rooted for too. There's just teams out there where they're kind of impossible to hate because they've gotten the ass end of the stick for so long. It's you just feel bad for them at some point. And this year, I don't think anybody's upset with the Bears doing this well, except for probably the Packers and Lions fans. Packers, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. I basically just have written down here, if the Packers win this week, I think they'll lock up the division. That's my opinion, is whoever wins the game this week. I don't know. I do see all these teams making the playoffs though. Especially with the Lions' strength of schedule towards the end. The only game they could realistically lose there, I think, is to the Rams, and that's it. So
yeah, it's tricky though, because the Lions have less room for error because they need everything. Where I would probably argue the Bears, they get to 11. The Packers, they get to 11. You probably got yourself in the mixer there to finalize. It might come down to your divisional records and then also maybe some of the, I guess, how you're going to calculate against other wild card candidates. But yeah, you'd like to think that it'll be enough to kind of get you in. So we agree that 3 teams out of this division.
I agree with that. Okay. I do.
All right. That's going to be the big takeaway because that means other divisions going to have to lose some people, which I think the NFC South is sort of clear. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be, but it is in my mind, where you have the Bucks that are currently first, 7-5, Panthers 7-6, who have been overachieving all year. I mean, if you're, again, a Panthers or a Bucks fan, the good news is you have complete control. They play against each other twice. So if you sweep that series, I mean, you're putting yourself in the money zone. I just love the schedule for the Bucks. I mean, they play the Panthers twice. They have the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Saints. The Saints at home, actually, this weekend. I'll be at that game. I'm flying tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to watching that in person. And I kind of feel like the Bucks have played all their toughest opponents with all these injuries, and players are coming back.
They front-loaded everything. Yeah. They did. Yeah,
correct.
I can agree
That's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about this division.
That was my thing. I basically said, I just don't see Tampa losing to the Panthers twice. I don't see the Panthers sweeping them 2 times, or just winning both those games. I also just think the Panthers, they're weird, and they might somehow drop one of these. I mean, I think they'll probably drop against the Seahawks. That's who they end up playing, but I think they're going to drop one of them. I don't dislike either one of these teams right now. I think the Panthers have been a fun team to watch this season. Whoever ends up winning the division, I'm okay with, to be honest with you. But I think it'd be more exciting to see Tampa Bay, and that's who I have winning the division. And obviously,
I got the Bucks winning the division, and I just don't see another playoff team. I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, the Panthers have been the most unpredictable team week to week. I still don't know what to tell you. When I watch them play, I don't know what Bryce is going to give us, whether it's amazing or it's not so much. I don't even know who's going to run the ball half the time. You know, Dowdle's been the main guy, but Hubbard stepped in last week and did exactly what he's supposed to do. They're making big throws on 4th downs. I don't know. But I'm there. I'm tuned into the Panthers. They also have like monster receiving core. We talked about this in a previous video, but they got so many 6'4" and 6'5" receivers. I just think like if you get those guys the ball, good things are going to happen. They're going to be dragging cornerbacks for fun.
I agree. All right. This one is also a pretty damn debatable division here as well, too, man. The NFC West, dude. 9-3 Rams, 9-3 Seahawks. Is it also not unbelievably surprising that the 49ers are somehow 9-4 with everybody somehow getting hurt at some point this year on their roster?
Not talked about. Kind of under the radar. I don't feel like the 49ers have been hitting the wavelengths for the media. I'm not seeing them discussed on the sports shows. I don't see a bunch of analysts talking about even Christian's season this year with McCaffrey. He's been good money. He's returned. I mean, the guy's, oh my goodness, he must have 85 receptions. He's in the 80s for receptions. I don't have a stat line in front of me right now, so don't misquote me over or under, but he's in the 80s already. I mean, the guy's been active. If anything, that's been the one consistent player this year, especially offensively. Everything's ran through him. But tell me how you see this playing out, and then I'll give you my agreeance or counter opinion.
Sounds good. Rams play the Cardinals, Lions, Seahawks, Falcons, and Cardinals. The thing is, you see the Lions on there, you see the Seahawks on there. Dude, the Rams are good enough to beat anybody, man. They're like, when the Rams are good, they're great. Having the Cardinals twice is 2 gimmies as well, too. You shouldn't drop either one of those. Falcons should be a win as well. I think it's 3 guaranteed wins for them. And then once again, they just have to, I think if they beat the Seahawks, I think they're good to go with the division. That was like my main takeaway from that. All 3 can make it though. I mean, the 49ers play the Titans, Colts, Bears, and Seahawks to end the year too. So I don't know. What do you have for this?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you my lay of the land, I suppose. So I've got the Rams winning the division. Mainly because that schedule that you mentioned, I just can't see how they don't win 3 to 4 of these games minimum. And they've already got enough wins to kind of be in the coaster. Seahawks, if they are perfect, I guess they could make things happen here too, but they also have to play the Colts. They do have to play those random Panthers. They got the Rams, of course, in a game. They have the 49ers in a game, a much harder schedule. Even the Falcons, they've got Kirk Cousins now playing. Maybe they surprise you. You never know this year. There's been a lot of unpredictable results. We say that over and over again. I swear we're not trying to build a narrative. It's just how the year's gone.
It's how it's gone, yeah.
It's just how it's gone. And the 49ers have a freebie with the Titans, who are terrible. But then outside of that, you got 3 tough games. Colts, Seahawks, Bears, and you have one less game than everyone else. And I think that's part of the reality here. You already have that additional loss. I have the 49ers missing the playoffs, coming in third in this division. And then I have the Rams leading and the Seahawks coming second. So those are my two playoff teams. And a little bit of a bummer if you're a 49ers fan, because, again, you definitely didn't have a bad year. Just part of the game, I suppose. I also could be wrong, but that's how I have this closing out or finishing up in the NFC West, which I don't know if this means we agree. We're going to be very close here, which leads us for the NFC. I have the Eagles, Packers, Bears, Lions, Bucks, Rams, Seahawks.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what
I don't know if you want anything swapped in your final 7.
That's it. I think the only thing is the wishful thinking on the Chargers in the AFC, and that's it right now. But we'll head on
some
over.
Some of the placements too. I don't think you have the Texans running the show, but we're
not
here
necessarily.
For it. I just want to disrupt Mahomes. Let's ruin the party for the Chiefs.
I'm fine with that. I would not mind that at all. All right, so we'll head on over to our predictions for the awards. Some of these are close, to be honest.
I think we start with the rookies. Why don't we start with the rookies and then we'll go from there?
I'm fine with that. Do you want
to? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. You want to start with offensive player of the year or defensive player of the year?
Offensive rookies. Would you like to take the throne or the stand?
You start off. You start this one off.
The desk.
You go for it.
The stage. I was trying to get on the stage. I was working my way to get there. Okay. Offensive rookie McMillan. I can't talk. He jumps off the page at you. 57 receptions, 826, 6 TDs. I think I'm actually going to lean this, but this is because what I think is going to happen. I think Egbuka is going to come in now to close out the year and be similar to what we saw early on the year. Because remember, they didn't have the scouting report necessarily as a rookie coming in. Then he didn't have any help because everybody was injured. Players are coming back. We've got Godwin back. Maybe Mike Evans will make an appearance late. You've got Bucky coming back. I just think he's going to close out really well. And I think this is going to end with Egbuka getting the Rookie of the Year or the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. I'd also like to give a shout out to Tyler Warren, who I think is amazing. And I don't know if he will or can, but he should be mentioned. Also, if the Browns were better, Judkins has been a boss. But the team is so bad. I don't know if I just doesn't sit that well with me. I'm going to contradict myself in a little bit, well, very soon. But I just think when you have players that are maybe close on the year that they've had, I like going with the winning player or the winning players.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I've got Egbuka. That's where I'm ending. So
you going to take him at plus 225 right now or what?
Yes, I'm taking the bet. I think he's going to close out the year amazingly well. That's the final
Sounds good. I'm leaning towards McMillan, man. I think it could go either way. I think the fact that these guys play each other twice, don't they? Towards the end of the season,
they might decide it in that game. To be honest,
that's what I think it's going to come down to. Stats are pretty damn similar. Like you mentioned, Warren had an incredible year too. It's just I think he's unfortunately not going to do it. I'll go with McMillan. Is going to be my prediction.
Gotcha. So we have a little bit of a disagreement there. I like it. I mean, those are the top two in my eyes. And then defensive rookie player of the year. I have a feeling we're going to agree. I got Wolverine blood, Carson Schlesinger. I mean, what a draft choice. 33rd in the draft, early second round. I mean, the Browns are the Browns, but defensively, the players they picked up, even some of their rookies. I'm actually so mad at the Browns. Like, it's another organization. I wouldn't say I root for them, but because they're so deep-rooted, the history is there. The fans have not had a lot to cheer for. It's cold. I also give credit to these cold cities. Maybe that's why I love Chicago. Because it's just grittier. It's nasty.
Yeah,
you're a fan. And if you live down south, you might not be able to relate to this. But if you are sitting outside and you're freezing and your team's getting smashed, you're getting battered, you don't have anything to play for, it's just frustrating. And these guys sit through that every single year or almost every single year. Or the ball doesn't bounce your way, and it just adds to it. I was like, I got frostbite and I got losses, The drinking didn't help me. I didn't wear it off. I'm still freezing cold. But, yeah, Carson, I think is the defensive rookie player of the year. I think the media is probably agreeing. I like Walker a lot from the Falcons. I like Campbell a lot from the Eagles if you wanted some different options here. I don't know where you're leaning.
Yeah, no, I'm leaning towards him as well, too, man. He leads basically everything in every category for rookies right now, so – there's not much else you can do, and I would like to mention that the drinking does fix everything usually. All right, next thing here. Let's go for – you want to go for offensive
Drink responsibly, 21 and up. 21 and up. I feel like we need to insert that in there.
That's if you don't get caught. Advisor. If you don't get caught, you're fine.
Okay, sweet.
All right.
We're going that direction. Nice.
Offensive player of the year. Who do you have?
I mean, the first one on my list would be Jonathan Taylor, 1,300 yards rushing, 15 TDs. It's the TDs, man. 15 TDs on the ground. He's got another 300 on the air or in the air, a couple TDs that way. We'll see how it closes out. I mean, JSN should be mentioned. I mean, is he going to maybe make a late run to even get close to 2,000 yards receiving? That type of season. I also love Gibbs this year. I mean, coming on late, this is part of my, I guess, headspace. How do I believe these players are going to finish? Gibbs is 1,000 plus on the ground, 500 in the air, 16 total TDs, and he's going to be used as the main guy, the main weapon for the Lions in their final games. We're already seeing that. It's been this late buildup, but I give this to Jonathan Taylor. I think that even though his last couple of weeks, I mean, against the Texans and the Chiefs, maybe wasn't his best output compared to how prolific he has been. But I think he's back in the business. He's got the Jags on the rotational. So I'm going to, as we're recording, I give it to Jonathan Taylor and what he's been able to accomplish with the Colts. Also, the Colts weren't expected to be that good this year. Like, can we just say that? They weren't.
Yeah, that's the truth, too. I don't know if anybody thought Njigba would be this good as well either, though, this year. Like, he's good, but he has been great. I'm looking back at some of their schedules for the rest of the year, too, because, like you mentioned, I think a lot of these may come down to some of these final games here. Seahawks against the Falcons. I mean, the thing is he can go off against anybody, and I feel like Jonathan Taylor can also go off against anybody as well, too. I'm leaning towards, I think they're going to give it to Jonathan Taylor, though. I think that's who's going to end up finishing strong and doing his thing, especially with Daniel Jones being hurt, too. He might, I don't know if he's going to get more attention now with him being a little bit less mobile. I don't know. We'll see, but my vote is Jonathan Taylor. Would you like to go for Defensive Player of the Year next? This one's basically wrapped up, though, isn't it?
I'd like to think it is. Myles Garrett, he's going to break the record for sacks. I mean, you're talking Michael Strahan and TJ Watt with 22 and a half. I mean, we got 5 games left. He's at 19 sacks. I'm seeing 25 plus safely. We're going to shatter the record, or he's going to shatter the record.
Can you bet on how many sacks they'll finish with at the end of the year? Is
Probably.
that a future you can take right now?
You could probably do that as a future, yep.
Okay, all right.
We got to get some lines. We're going to start talking sports betting in every video.
We have to, man.
Lines on screen.
We will. He's minus 1,500 as of right now, I believe, to win the entire thing for Defensive Player of the Year. So
you're not going to make any money on that bet. Don't.
If you got a nice $1,500, you can make 100 if you are interested in it. All right, last one here. MVP Drake May and Stafford are the 2 front runners right now.
Yeah, I got.
Would you be upset with either? Yeah. Would you be upset with either one though?
There's a reason that I'm going Drake May here. I think the Patriots again coming into the year, way different expectation than the Rams based on last season in particular. I mean, this is a 23-year-old. They're leading the division, 71% completion. He makes all the throws. He protects the ball. He can move on his feet. I mean, this is such a complete player. And not just the stat lines. We could talk about, he's got 3,400 yards, 23 TDs, 6 picks. I think he's got 300 something rushing yards, a couple more TDs that way. But it's the reading of the game. It's the leadership. It's the result. I mean, this division's pretty much wrapped up at this point. And you got to remember, last year we're talking about a 4-13 organization, 4-13 team. The turnaround, I mean, remarkable. And I credit that. So that's like, say what you will. Everybody's different with how they're looking at putting together, I guess, an MVP candidate. But I'm looking at a team that was bad. Actually terrible. A terrible team to now being a contender.
Yeah.
And it's because of one player, not the only change, but one definitely major player or key component, stepping up, being ready for his sophomore year.
Then there's the other side of it where it's Matt Stafford is old and he's still unbelievable.
So we're giving him credit for being super unk.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like, I mean, it's as of right now, Drake May has like 400 more passing yards. Stafford nearly has 10 more passing touchdowns. He has 2 less interceptions.
How many yards he's got running the ball? Stafford does not move that thing forward.
Stafford would have been better in terms of rushing if he didn't play this year. He's at minus 10 for rushing yards this year.
Showing his age.
Drake May's got 2 rushing touchdowns. One of those, again, that'll come down to the very end. I won't be upset with either one of them, but Matthew Stafford, I have a new love for Matthew Stafford after watching him this year, and he's just been really good and really consistent. He's fun to watch. I think both are. This conversation can be completely different in 2 weeks. There might be something that happens. We'll find out, but
it could also be a preference play. It depends what you're giving credit to, what you're valuing. I do think the end, because this is close enough, to your point, the end of the season will dictate the winner. I think, for the most valuable player. I am surely.
And
I
I'm
would
the
back
type
it.
of person. Yeah, I'm the type of person that enjoys plus money on bets too. So I go with Stafford. All right, because he's May's leading right now.
I don't know if this is fair or not, but I also think that Stafford has a better receiving core than Drake May.
That's a fair argument. Yeah.
Yeah, so I also think he has better weapons on a better team that had better history recently. Maybe it's kind of like when you look at the coach of the year. Sometimes they do say, well, what happened the previous year or previous years? Why is this year so special? That's sort of how I feel with this argument. And I don't know if that's the right bias to have.
No, it's a fair bias to have, though.
It's just something I'm looking at criteria with it.
No, it's fair. I think weapons around you is definitely a factor as well, too. It has to be.
Like, we got a distracted Stephon Diggs as like his leading receiver. He's got three baby mamas, 3 different women, all simultaneous right now. He's running it up.
There's probably a fourth in
He's
the making
doing no
right now.
protection.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
zero condoms in his life.
What are those? Yeah, that's what it is. All right. If you guys have made it to the end of the video, as always, if you could leave a like, we'd appreciate it. Comment down below any of the predictions you guys have. If you disagree with us, you agree with us, whatever it is, we'd love to hear it.
Make sure to comment, because you guys will come in and say, you got that prediction wrong. I want to see your prediction so we can go back to it, and then I can say, you're so smart, you nailed it. Or, hey, that's not how this played out.
I'm going to go back through every video where we got
and
called
an idiot
and then start letting them have... Yeah, no edited crap,
edited.
All right? We're going to get screenshots of this at the end of the weekend. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.